Hi, I'm Trevor Johnson, Executive Chef of the Lab Kitchen, and welcome to our date night series instructional video. So tonight we're making Thai-style lettuce wraps. And the first thing I'm going to do is just turn my stove on low heat so I can preheat whether you're using a pot or a skillet to saute your meat in. So that way when we're ready to go, it'll be all nice and preheated for us. So the first thing we're going to do after that is start on our sauce. So in our mixing bowl, I have about a half a cup of peanut butter. You can use chunky or smooth, it makes no difference. To that, I'm going to add half of our ginger, so about a tablespoon of finely minced ginger, along with about a tablespoon of soy sauce, a good squeeze of honey, probably about a 1/4 cup. If you like it a little less sweet, more savory, you can cut that amount of honey in half. A tablespoon of rice wine vinegar, a nice acidic pop. And I'm just gonna give that a whisk. If the sauce turns out to be a little thicker than you want, you can add water, about a tablespoon at a time until it gets to a nice creamy consistency. So I chose chunky peanut butter, so mine's a little thick, so I'm just gonna add some water. You don't need much. All right, just gonna give that a taste. One thing I forgot to add is sesame oil. Just a couple teaspoons of sesame oil. That'll help balance out the sweetness of that honey and a nice, more well-rounded flavor profile. Touch more water. And we are good to go. So I'm just going to let that kind of just set up and marinate together while we start on our meat. So I'm going to turn the stove back up to medium-high heat. And for my lettuce wraps, I'm using ground pork. It's just my preference. You can use any ground meat you like. Chicken, veal, beef, whatever is available, whatever's your preference. And we're not searing it, so I don't really have to wait too long for the pan to heat up. So I'm just gonna add a tablespoon and a half of my sesame oil. And then I'm gonna go right in with my meat. So when you cook ground beef or any ground meat, you wanna make sure that you're constantly moving it with a nice sturdy spoon. This is why I like using a wooden spoon for this, because you want to move it and work it and just keep breaking it up as it cooks. Otherwise, you'll end up with large clumps of meat, and that's not what we want. We want a nice, same size pieces, even consistency. Chefs like all their pieces of meat, all their pieces of food to be the same size. So that's what we're gonna do here. Just kind of season that with a pinch of salt. And a little pepper. And just keep breaking it up. You notice what I'm doing, I'm kind of scooping under, lifting it up, and then pressing down. mushrooms. Doing it this way, ensures that no raw pieces of meat remain. You're getting a nice, even cooking. Okay, so at this point, probably got about 3/4 of all our meat cooked. So I'm just going to turn the heat down, and I'm going to add some chopped scallions. Just want to cut the bottoms off of these. Remember that foundation of most Asian flavors starts with ginger, garlic, and scallions. So I'm just going to give the bottoms of these scallions a good slice. I like to go all the way up till it starts looking more like chives and less like onion bulb. So I'm going to save the tops for garnish. And you can mince them a little finer. I'm going to keep them in these nice rounds. I just like the way they look. And I like the texture that gives the overall saute. So keep working that meat. At this point, it should be pretty much all nice and brown. We're going to add the rest of our seasonings. So we're going to go in with our ginger, our garlic, and our scallions, as well as a tablespoon of soy sauce, and a couple tablespoons of chopped peanuts, again, just for that texture. I'm just gonna stir all this till it comes together. And just continue cooking this on medium heat until your scallions start looking translucent. Just so they lose a little bit of that oniony punch that they have in the raw. Again, just keep trying to break it up. You don't want any giant chunks of meat. So what happens when you have large chunks of meat is they don't get seasoned properly. So you want everything to be the same size. Now let's give this a taste. Okay, that's ready to go. If you're a fan of spice, this is where, at this point, where I'd suggest adding chili flake or any kind of sliced chilies. So now the last component is we're going to build our slaw. So the slaw I'm making is traditional combination of flavors. It's daikon radish, which is long Asian radish, and carrots. Fortunately, I could not find daikon, but I do have some regular white radish that I have peeled and have been sitting in water so they don't brown as much. So what you want to do with your radish, you want to take either a box grater or a cheese grater, and we're just going to kind of hold it at an angle. Holding it at an angle this way, you get nice long strands. Okay, so once you get your daikon and your carrot grated, just gonna add a little bit of those sliced scallion tops. About half of them. As well as a half bunch of cilantro. If you don't have cilantro, parsley and mint also work well. Oh, it smells amazing. Fresh cilantro, radish. Okay, so back with that same grater, I'm gonna add also the zest of a lime. As well as the juice of about a quarter of lime. Just give that a nice toss. Look at all those beautiful colors coming together. And just a pinch of salt. Get that into our serving bowl. So lettuce wraps are all about balance. You have this nice, savory, sometimes spicy meat. You got this nice, cool slaw. And we got a rich, creamy peanut sauce. So what we're gonna do to finish, check on our meat, and you'll see that there's a lot of liquid that comes out. So we're gonna take, that's just the water draining from the meat. So we're just gonna take that and just press it and just let it drip into our sauce. So that's gonna do, it's just gonna add a little more depth of flavor to our sauce, and it's also gonna make it a nice, smoother consistency. Just give that a whisk. Look at that. Perfect. All right, and now we are ready to assemble. So I've got a head of beautiful, fresh bib lettuce. You can use any kind of lettuce you want, iceberg, romaine, butter lettuce. This just happens to be my favorite. So I'm just gonna take a couple leaves, breaking from the bottom of the head to ensure I don't tear them. Get my plate. A nice healthy spoonful of meat on each one of my leaves. Followed by our peanut sauce. And then we have this beautiful, bright slaw that we made. Yours might look a little different. It just depends on the color of your carrots. I was using rainbow carrots, so that's why it looks a little purple. And I'm just gonna garnish this with a few sesame seeds. A And some more of those chopped peanuts we did. And there are Thai-style lettuce wraps. This will be the easiest date night you've ever had. Now it's time to try. All the components work together so well, but that peanut sauce, that's the star of the show. Thank you all for joining me.
Do we need a new separate one of you chewing?
Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful date night. See you next week. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful date night. See you next week.